everything that is pianocraft. I am one of the instructors, and today we're going to be pivoting a little bit. Not usually, a lot of times we talk, training, skills, services, tuning, repairs. But the other half of what we do is we talk business. And in this case, I'd like to talk a little bit about this concept of non-negotiables. To be honest, I hadn't heard this concept, and Stacy might have before I brought it up to her. And it's probably this thing that people know about, but I was watching this show. I've been watching this show for a couple years now, and it's called The Bear. And it's about somebody who's, yeah, Johnny knows. It's about a young guy that's starting a restaurant, and he's this, very well-trained high-end chef, and he wants to elevate kind of this family business that is known for just making kind of mediocre sandwiches, and he wants to get Michelin stars. And so in this most recent season, things kind of went off the rails in season 2. Now in season 3, he kind of comes to the conclusion that we need to kind of establish some non-negotiables, the things that we will do no matter what, that kind of make us as a restaurant. And I don't think I can recommend this show. It's like really intense. Like, it's very intense. And it feels like it's a hard watch, but there are bits and pieces in it that it's just kind of brilliant. And I thought that this whole idea of this non-negotiables was kind of brilliant. And so we kind of did a brainstorm and came up with 5 for our company, for Artisan, to have as non-negotiables. Now, one of the things that you're going to realize as you start to go out in the field, as you start to build your business, as you start to do more services, that certain things that you thought were kind of the core of your business and what you do, they start to kind of flutter away. And it's an easy thing to do. Maybe one of the things that you did was, I'm going to vacuum it every time. But turns out that your vacuum broke last week and you haven't gotten a chance to repair it, and it goes into 2 months. And that doesn't become a thing that you do. Or maybe you used to have business cards and you used to leave them all in customers' houses, but you keep on forgetting and it goes by the wayside. It's amazing how many things, given a little bit of time and a lack of intentionality, can go by the wayside. And so what I want to do is kind of explain to you our current 5 non-negotiables. And I think we have them pretty well set, but these are ones that fit us as a company right now, given where we're at and what struggles we've had in the past. But I encourage you, as we talk about this, to think of 3 to 5. I think in the show The Bear, there was like 20 of them, and it was a lot. I'm always a big fan of simplifying, and so 3 to 5 is for us kind of the right number, and in which case here we have 5. So these non-negotiables for us are critical things that we want every customer to experience, or we absolutely need as a bare minimum from our technicians and the overall service experience. And so for us, it started first and foremost with, hold on, before I share that one, for us, there's a given. Before we do these non-negotiables, you have to do great service. That's not on the actual technical work. That's not on these non-negotiables. That's kind of a given. It's like, no, that's not even on this. You need to do good tuning. You need to do, high-end work. That's kind of the standard. But the first of the non-negotiables, and I'll kind of give them in order, is you need to show up on time. And so it was show up on time. And correct me if was there another part of that one, Stacy? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, on time, in your uniform, well presented. Yeah. That's the whole package. That whole thing's one thing.
So. The reason that one is such a hard nose we have that one is because the rest of your day kind of leans on top of that. If you're late for your first one, you're typically flustered. There might be a bad experience because the customer expected you right at 9 o'clock, and there's a little bit of chaos in the air, and that can move to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. Plus, it's a very big pet peeve of mine if I schedule something and I expect it at a certain time and there's not a communication elsewhere. Now, we get that things happen, but the communication needs to be pretty fluid. So if you're not going to be there at 8 o'clock, if you're going to be there at 8:05, you're calling and letting them know. So showing up on time is absolutely like an essential, and as well as showing up in the uniform, well groomed. And so I've had technicians, they'll come in to grab some things, and I'll look and like, hey, your pants are ripped. Oh yeah, that happened last week. I haven't gotten a chance to fixing that. And it's been like, whoa. So that's part of it. It's like we're trying to create a 5-star experience, and ripped jeans, untucked shirt, not showing up, on time. These are big ones. And so we decided to create this as a non-negotiable for Artisan, as there's no negotiating. You can't have ripped jeans. You can't have this or that. You can't show up late. This is an essential thing that we're embracing as a company for our culture. Questions about that one? I'm curious what your thoughts are. I know that some people are not as intense about showing up on time as I am, so I get that.
I think it's really critical to know how long it takes you to do a service call, like find that groove. Because if you're feeling rushed all the time, just like you said, David, that affects your whole day, the whole day. Like when you feel rushed, it's not a fun experience for you, and the customer can feel it. So I think that's so good. And if you're going to be more than 5 minutes late, more than 5, call them. Because usually people are fine if you are running late. But yeah.
With you 100%.
Showing up on time. Show up on time. I think that's how we have it, is show up on time. It's interesting because over the years we've had technicians that embrace the idea of a uniform, kind of the whole look and the whole old world feel, and then others don't like that. And for us, we look at it as this is, you don't go to Starbucks, I mean, and you see somebody in kind of random clothes. No, they kind of all have the outfit. It's just part of the
What is your uniform?
So if you go on to, I'm thinking if you just Google piano tuning Portland, and Stacy, I don't know if you can do that and pull it up. If you Google piano tuning Portland, and you'll see Artisan, and you'll see in the listing, you'll see me with a bunch of our technicians all suited up. But essentially, what our uniform is a dark wash jean. In fact, we're going to be, there you go. So we're actually going to be really reconfiguring it a little bit. So it's a dark wash jean. Specifically, I believe it's the Levi's 541. And so we're literally going to be buying every of our, one of our technicians now jeans. A chambray, which is kind of a bluish, in this case, a bluish jean light shirt with the tie. And then we also have a kind of a custom vest. And so that has been what our company was founded on. People were like, hey, where's the guy with the, that kind of, it's dapper, but it's craftsman-y. It's kind of that whole old world feel. And it is a bear in the summer times. So we usually don't wear our vests in the summer times. I don't know what I'm going to do down here in Phoenix right now, but I think I just need to kind of get over it, because it was such a statement outfit uniform for us over the years, to the point where when we stopped wearing it for a period, customers like, hey, didn't you used to wear, ties and things of that nature? And so it was a thing. And so people look for it. I don't know, Stacy, what your thoughts are on this.
No, I love the, I actually really like the look of it. It just fits our style really well. And I think people look really professional, especially with that apron. And then the thing is, we do have, I try to keep the customer with the same tech every year, but we rotate around depending on when they can get in. And so that familiarity of like, oh, they still look the same and the car still looks the same. And like, it just makes it so it's not like, who are you? So I had an experience with another tech in Utah where I was bringing in another tech to kind of offload some of that work. And he dressed totally different. and his style was just so contrasty that it created a lot of issues because that customer was like, hey, this is not the same. I mean, we're trying to like make that experience feel the same for the customer. So yeah.
The basically black, the darker black wash jeans, the reason for that is it looks clean. We do work with stuff that can stain or dirt and stuff like that, and so it disguises that really well. Kind of that chambray jean shirt is just really, it's just kind of a solid looking shirt, and we really like it. We usually do a tie. It's kind of a bluish color. Again, blue is a very soothing, relaxing color. And again, all this is purposely done, and we're going to be, we haven't done it in the past where we provide that level of like, we're buying all of this stuff for the technicians. We've kind of expected it, just like, here, it's part of your wage, you just buy it. But we're going to go now to the extent of like, here, we're going to provide you all of this every year. Just because we want it to be like, this is it, this is a uniform. We expect you to, you know, to wear it and just make it easier. So, but yeah, that's the first one. First non-negotiable, show up in uniform, well-groomed, on time. And that sets the tone for not only that service call, but the rest of the service calls throughout the day. And it really puts you, I found, in that headspace of I'm in artisan mode, I'm in work mode. And that's what, you know, again, is the first of the non-negotiable. Stacy, I think I'm mixing up the second non-negotiable with the third, but I believe the second one is at every appointment, give recommendations and offer additional services. Am I correct in that one, or is there one before that?
No, that's it. Like fully inspect the piano and write down the recommendations you have, because people don't know that their piano needs more than tuning. We're trying to educate the customer that this is like a service. This isn't just tuning.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely the second one. Yeah.
Yeah. So for that one, again, that's an easy one to be like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm late for the next whatever. No, this is an essential one for us at Artisan, and it's a revamping of our services, granted, but now we're saying, no, at every appointment, we are going to be looking through, does the piano need calibration, lubrication? Does it need to have the screws tightened? Does it need this, and we are going through that and figuring out what we can do there on site within the additional hour that we could spend, and what are some additional things outside of that. And we are finding that customers, by the way, I can report that our technicians are doing that. And as they're doing it, the response has been just huge. And it turns a $200 service. What was Sean's the other day, including the music rack, Stacy?
Oh, I mean, including the music rack?
I think we went from $195 to $700.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were happy, thrilled to pay it. And so again, to 3+X that service, and they're happy to do that. That's an amazing thing that you can offer, but you simply need to take the time to inspect the piano thoroughly. Just tell them, hey, I can do this. I'm here. I have some time. I'm amazed at how few technicians do this. How few technicians, I think it's easy to get stuck in your rut and start to just kind of do your daily thing and forget about it, to kind of push it aside. But that's why we're making this a non-negotiable. At every appointment, you're showing up on time, uniformed up, well-groomed. Second one, what we're just talking about, is you are going and inspecting and offering additional services that can elevate their pianos.
Can you guys hear me okay? Can you guys see this? This is an example of someone who just scheduled a regular tuning, and then it needed a pitch raise. So Sean said it needs another pitch raise. I can also do all these other things. Like, the customer was actually so happy. They were so happy. They're like, it feels so like the tone and like, especially the touch, the cleaning. She even gave him a tip. She's like, I need to give you like she offered that. And then do you see this recommended services? So then next year when they call or they schedule, I'm going to see that. And I'm going to be like, oh, signature service was already recommended. So I can just say, hey, instead of a tuning, your tech recommended doing another signature service. That gives us that extra hour to like really work on the piano. And then, calibrate action, work on hammer shaping and voicing. So like that was, and then at the end, it was a teacher, and her music desk. Oh my gosh, I can't think. Yeah, like what, I'm thinking of all these terms today. Her music desk, like the suede was all like worn out, and so Sean was like, "Hey, do you want me to replace this?" Because he's very like cosmetic looking. He just loves to make things beautiful. I'm noticing that's like his strength. And so he's like, "I can replace this for you." And she's like, "I would love that." So, I mean, that's what he's bringing it back tomorrow. But like, she was so happy to do that. And all he had to do is recommend it.
Yeah.
They don't have to say yes, but wow, kind of an amazing example.
It's hard because we as business owners, as craftsmen and women, are going into customers' houses, and it's hard to value our own work, thinking like, oh man, somebody's paying me $150 to enter their house to do something, and I'm gonna ask for more, or would I do that? But the reality is, yes, you do it. You do it every time you go to the auto mechanic. You do it. You go to every time you have a plumber, electrician. We just need to kind of push through that uncomfortability, and that's why we make it a non-negotiable. So I highly recommend some of these. I think the first two for us, I would recommend all of you consider for your own businesses, is the non-negotiable. I need to show up. I need to show up in whatever uniform a FINA is. I need to show up, and I need to inspect and offer ways that I can improve the piano. Get to the point where, how dare I go to a service call and not do that? That's the mindset you need to have, is I'm robbing my customer of potential from their piano by not doing this. The more you can get in that headspace, the more you'll be able to break through and be like, no, I can do all this other stuff. It's a value. They see it's a value, and they're going to book it. And you're going to be able to do fewer appointments during the day, as you will find out, like we have. All the pianos need this, and it's just all about recommending it. And you will find that what you used to do 4 or 5 a day, now you're doing 2 a day, 3 a day, and offering better service, and they're happy, you're happy, and you're not burned out. So second one is definitely inspect and offer ways to really improve the customer's piano. Stacy, what's number 3?
So number 3 is for Artisan, we really need those techs to take pictures and upload all the piano information and just do a basic assessment, the ABC. So action, belly, cabinet. So it's so easy to do, especially we use Gazelle, but they'll literally just voice text it like, okay, the action's in really good shape. Okay, belly, the pins are holding tight, like just whatever, just a really quick evaluation and a picture, right? And then the serial number, and it's just, the customer actually really appreciates that the tech is like taking interest in the piano and actually looking over it. In fact, I get a lot of compliments, even if they don't do additional services, that wow, he like really took if you look at some of our Google reviews, the customer's like, he really took the time to like thoroughly look at my piano. They like that. And then the cool part on my end is we can do an appraisal. We can offer an appraisal for their homeowner's insurance, and we have all that information in there. It's just it's so perfect.
Chef
Perfect.
So David and Stacy, as far as the photos that are being taken, are they taking photos 360 lid, as well as what you would see for a front shot that you would use as an image within Gazelle that would go on an invoice type of thing?
There's about, I can answer this one, Stacy. There's roughly 5 photos that we're looking for, kind of the front view, side view, belly, action view, and then one more of any, like the serial number stamped somewhere with the logo. And that's sufficient for what we need for an insurance appraisal, which is what most all customers really do want or need. Just a very simple, here's what you have, here's what a replacement value of like in kind. That's the big one. What would it cost to replace this with a brand new piano? And generally speaking, what would this piano used be sold at a store for? That's a big one. What would a used piano be sold at a store for this one? And that's,
so you said front view, side view, within the belly, serial number, and what was the 5th one?
From view, belly view, action view, belly action.
Yeah, and really, if there's anything concerning
Yeah.
that I can't see in person,
Right. Yeah. If there's a blemish that you want to
yeah.
document, then you would add on to any of those. If there
Mhm.
was a broken piece you want to document, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as you know, there's two reasons I see for this one is yes, that's an easy recommendation for the future of hey, we can do an appraisal. We have all this information at any point in the future. We can do that for you. But also, I think that the time is coming when Gazelle is going to have custom portals for your customers. I think that they're going to have a portal for their actual piano that they'll be able to have their own login and keep and maintain that. And it would be great to have all this stuff populated for when that time comes.
Right. That way the customer can actually view the photos that were taken of their piano and have documentation for their invoices, et cetera. Yeah, that makes sense.
We were talking about that like yesterday, the exact thing. Like we should sell Gazelle if they can make that a feature. And like, yeah, we were like thinking of like making a individual QR, and we could just like leave it on the side of the piano that they could just scan. But yeah, somewhere where they can see everything we've recommended,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
coming.
easier.
It's coming. We're working.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. No, that's a big one. And now this is one of those of the non-negotiables that is, this may or may not apply to you all in your own businesses. This is one that's very applicable to ours because it is along the lines of like gets forgotten. It's one of those things that when you're rushed, you can kind of push it aside. It doesn't take long. I think it takes me 5 minutes, and like what Stacey said, I'm just dictating it on the device.
Even if you're not using Gazelle, I think it's a benefit to you to have documentation of the pianos you're working on, as well as, you want the serial number, because what if you don't know the actual age? You need the serial number to be able to look it up in the atlas to try to define what the age of the piano is, because customers like to know that if you can provide it.
They love that. And by the way, if you can go ahead and purchase a Pierce Piano Atlas, keep that handy at every service call. That is such a fun thing for them. They're like, do you know how old your piano is? And they're like, I don't know, maybe 19. I wish I could tell. I looked it up once. That's usually what I hear. I tried to find it. And then we were like, well, give me a chance. I'm going to see if I can do some digging. And then when you pull up, actually, this Kanabi, which, by the way, you give them a brief history of Kanabi and this, they're just like, whoa, that was cool.
Do you know what the latest edition is of the Atlas? Because I have an older version.
I'm pretty sure this is the latest. Does anyone have any? I'm pretty sure. I haven't seen a new. I just barely got this one like a couple months ago.
That one's
I sent you one, David, too.
Is that 12th edition?
13th? 12 or 13?
It says 2017. What does that mean? I don't know. Let me look. I'll look. But yeah, I think it's the latest. It's the latest one I could find.
That's when they printed it.
Yeah.
In 2017.
What called Blue
That's
Book of
probably when
Pianos
they
I've been
printed
using
it.
to look up piano stuff.
Say it again, Justin.
I found a website called Blue Book of Pianos.
Yeah.
Kind of like Kelly Blue Book, but for pianos. That's what I've been
Yeah,
using.
unfortunately, it's not as good as the Atlas. It'll give you baseline stuff, but a lot of times they give, in some areas, 5-year windows.
Yeah.
As opposed to every single year that you typically get in the Atlas. So.
Yeah. No, that's true. It's one of those things. It's a ridiculous.
Okay, I noticed that on mine.
For what I don't know. I mean, yeah. And if they had the app version, that would be slick, but they don't have anything like that really yet.
I keep trying. I'm like, Gazelle, you should have a Pierce Piano Atlas.
Oh, that would be slick.
Do it. It'd make it so nice.
Yeah, so at every appointment for
I think there's an online version of it.
an online version of it?
I think so. I feel like there wasn't. I don't know how often it's updated, but another tech I knew had hacked that, and he didn't keep the book. He just like online and figured it out.
I'll have to look into that. I didn't think they had it online. Yeah. So again, for us, this is the third of our non-negotiables for people just joining. First one was showing up on time, uniformed, well presented. Second one being that you, sorry, I'm getting confused. Second one, that you're actually inspecting the piano and offering ways to improve the instrument, not just do the tuning. Third one being documented, whatever pictures, a brief summary of the action, the belly, and the cabinet. And just so you all know, it's very simple. For us, for the insurance purposes, it's like piano is in overall good condition, action shows normal signs of wear for its age, no major issues, ivory keys, one chip, belly, tuning pins are holding strong within the pin block, no visible cracks in the soundboard or bridges, strings still sound good, cabinet is minor scratches, no major blemishes, overall good condition. Something like that, just a little bit of, a little breakdown just like that, because you can go crazy. And I just wanted to say, we don't go crazy with it. You could write a paragraph or 3 paragraphs on each. We're just saying a sentence or two, just a sentence or two. That's it. And that's all we need on our end for Stacy to work her magic and do appraisals. So that's number 3. Number 4 is one that I do recommend for all of you. And that is leave your company candy. Leave them some candy. Whether that's your business cards, that's your flyers, that's your key covers, whatever that is, be sure to actually leave them, your customers, a gift. And it could just be the business card, but be sure to leave that. You'd be amazed at how many people go to the house, do all the work, especially nowadays when you have something like Gazelle, because you can actually do it all paperless. And it kind of robs the customer of something tangible. And so that's why we at Artisan have gone to the extent of creating a lot of candy. We call it the Artisan candy, and that is flyers, discount coupons on pianos, on moving, teacher network things, our packages folder, and and then our key cover. So we leave all of that with the customers every time, and that's a gift to them, and it helps them to remember you. But you have to leave it, and it's one of those things that's easy to forget, funny enough. But that should be left every time. Non-negotiable. At least that's my opinion. My opinion, and we're going to do it because I guess it's kind of my company. So that's what we're going to do. Thoughts on that? Do you all have candy or ideas for candy and what that might look like? Whether it's just a business card, and that's cool too.
Yeah, I want to hear.
David, I can't hear you.
David.
I don't think you're muted, but I can't hear you. Oh.
No, I can't hear you. I'm sure David has like this awesome one. He's like,
I know, I'm feeling like
I carve something of the customer's, face, and then I leave it on the piano. Maybe you come back in or restart. What about you, Jeff? You're going to a lot of customers' houses now. Do you have something that you leave with them? Is it a business card or pamphlet or anything yet?
Yeah, mostly it's just sorry, I got the air conditioner on here. It's like 94 degrees here. It's my business card. I made magnets of my business card. That's pretty much all I have right now. I sometimes leave if I think the piano needs it, I'll leave like a damp chaser brochure.
Yep.
But I really haven't had time to like develop a lot of stuff. Yeah. So, but I mean, I just did our county fair. I had a booth at our county fair, and at that, at last minute, I came out. I took old piano hammers and I drilled a hole through them, put a keychain on them, and stuck my business card on them, and gave them all out at the fairs. I had like 90 of them, and they were all gone. So
that's a great idea.
That is awesome. So you had a booth. Wait, this is like, you guys, that's huge. So you rented a booth and you had like a little display, and how did you get there? Did you have them fill out anything for the
so I had a drawing. I had a drawing for 2 free tunings. So at the fair, I had like 230 people put their names in, and then So, and I didn't care if they took the keychain and didn't put it in. It was like, It's just free, you know.
Nice.
That's so brilliant. I used to do like home shows and stuff, and we would get like 300 like, you know, raffles, and I would like schedule at least 25 tunings, at least. Just to
Yes,
start
yes, I would, and not to get distracted off what you're talking, but I had 20 people scheduled during the fair, and then I called everybody from the drawing, and I got another 30 people that signed up. You know, I'm kind of in an area where it's a little lacking. I'm kind of rural, so it worked out really well.
Yeah, good
It was pretty
job.
awesome.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Oh my
Yeah, I
gosh.
would totally recommend it. Like, get yourself a little piano. I have a little. I don't know if you've ever heard of a monochord piano.
Yeah.
It's like a little 5-octave piano. I found one this spring, and it was in great shape. So I hauled that thing over there and opened it up and let people play on it. So, you know, like let them see the action and everything. You know, so it was a good draw. So if you can get into a county fair, you know, do it, because it was really worth it.
Good job. I like that. David, can I hear you? Oh, no, he still can't hear you. Oh, I'm sorry.
So, David, I've shown this to you guys before, but my key covers.
Is that your key cover? I didn't see that yet. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I'd shown it to you, but maybe not. So.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's beautiful. It looks.
I have that, and then of course the business cards.
Can you tell me about those? Because I don't know what cover, like, to put on the keys for a dust cover.
This little felt thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over the keys.
Yeah.
And then it has your logo on it.
That was one that, we decided to do. Andy, our COO, was able to make contact with somebody, and they were able to make them pretty cheap. And so we give everyone, you know, once we leave the customer, it literally comes in a little. Does yours come with that too, Michael? It comes in a little baggie, and
it does. Although I need to put these all back in the baggies because the guy who was doing it didn't put it back in the baggies.
Okay.
Which I told him he didn't have to, because that takes a lot of time to get these fitted back in. But
yeah. So Jeff, it's like the perfect thing to leave at a customer's house, because literally they're going to put it on every time and see your name every time they go to your piano, and guests will come by and see, oh, it's Artisan, or it's this or that. It's pretty crazy. And we're excited because we just started doing it this year, but I know that the loyalty and the people coming back it'll pay off in dividends. David
wrote in the chat. So he said, I have, sorry, David, your microphone. I've seen when the piano, when he opened the piano, an old tuning schedule that was branded and had some great tips on piano maintenance. It was just sitting under the lid for easy access on an upright. That's cool. That's cool.
That is cool.
If you had something written out, like your own little brochure.
Yeah. Like a little brochure.
Yeah. One thing that I saw at the convention, somebody had created a little grid for each piano that they worked on what is the how it looks and how the action's performing, and then any notes, and then, you know, last time, you know, that they tuned and left that in the piano for the next time that they came back. So that would be, you know, somebody posted on one of the Facebook forums an old card that was a folded over part of it. Half of it was the business card. The other half was a background of the technician. And then on one corner of it was a tuning, you know, a list of the tunings that had been done on the piano. So,
wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So essentially when it folded over is business card size, but then it folded up, had background of the technician, and the front side was the business card, back side was the when tunings had happened, which was pretty cool.
I love this idea. That's cool. Like had even like a little bio.
It had a bio of the guy, and the guy was like, and unfortunately it didn't really say, you know, when his era was, as far as, you know, somebody had found it recently. But yeah, it was pretty cool that he had had tuned pianos in the military. Yeah. And had, you know, done, you know, part of his thing back was giving back to, you know, helping veterans if they wanted a job to help them with, you know, helping them out doing piano work and stuff like that. So it was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Have you seen anybody do like, I know for other businesses they'll do like the stamp Like after the 10th one is free, whatever. Have you seen anybody do that for like piano tuning? Like the 10th one is like half off, or 10th.
They're like a punch card, you mean?
Yeah.
I've
Do you
not.
think that would be a good idea?
I've heard of people doing that. I've never seen it or talked to anybody that's done it successfully. I think and the ones that I've seen, they had too many that you needed to buy. I think it was like a dozen. I think it was like a dozen of them. So it'd been like after 12 years, you'd get a free tuning kind of a deal.
But that's hard to keep track of.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I mean, what we used to do is you recommend somebody, we give you, it was like a $10 or $15 Amazon gift card. So we used to have that as an insert. And so if you recommend anybody, just let us know and we'll send you a gift card. Then we ran into like, well, how do we categorize that with the IRS and stuff like that? And just like all of that jazz. So I'm always open to cool ideas like that because you want them to be just recommending you. But I find that if you do what we're talking about with some of these non-negotiables, you're showing up, you're just creating this out of just crazy experience, because the reality is, I'll just say it, our culture is declining as far as the experiences. I think it's worse than that. I think it's, as a culture, our society is declining as far as people willing and wanting to provide and do something over and above. And so I think that if the more you embrace this, the more you're just going to stand out so far. And so I think that by doing some of these things, you create the wow factor. And I mean, Artisan kind of did that early on as we stood out like a sore thumb, because we were the wow factor because we were doing some of this. And you all will, by doing some of these things, even just showing up on time, you'll be amazed at what that does.
Yeah, just communication and showing up on time. You know, if you think about any service that you have coming to your house, whether it be a plumber or you know a technician to work on your cable or whatever, you know, that's so important. Sets a great tone for the service.
Yeah. And providing reasonable time windows. If you could do a 1 hour or 2 hour as opposed to a 3-4 hour time window, that's a big deal too. Did I see somebody say something about magnets? Magnets are a great idea as well.
What do you pay for those for David, and who else had a magnet?
We don't have magnets. I'm curious what other people pay for the magnets.
Yeah, Jeff, what did you pay for your magnets? Didn't you say you had them? Wait, where'd he go?
I think he accidentally dropped.
Did I accidentally drop him? I hope it wasn't me. Okay. I'm like,
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Okay.
What you were asking, what I paid for them?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I just used Vistaprint, and I just had my business card already on there, and I talked to somebody. The Vistaprint is great with like helping you work on projects, so they just transferred it over to a magnet, and then I just ordered like 500 of them or whatever, you know. And I don't remember what it cost. It wasn't like horribly bad. It was probably something like it was probably around $50 or something.
Oh wow, David said he got a bundle, like 300 magnets for like $250 or something.
Okay.
That's
less than $1 a card.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we tried to do is have less than $5 of stuff that we're giving to the customer. So that's what we've tried to do. So we have the pamphlet, we have the cards, we have the key cover. We're trying to get everything under $5.
No, we did have an idea here in Texas. Every state usually does it, but like the music conference for the school districts every year for band and choir and everything. We're thinking of setting up a booth. I know it's kind of going to another topic, but we're trying to figure out what we should, have at our booth and what really we should talk about. Should we have like a brochure, kind of like what you're saying, David, that has like our moving companies that we refer and the services we offer?
Boy,
I guess what Jeff was doing.
The brochure would be great. A lot of times what people you have to know that when you go to these conferences, The things that stand out are not the brochures. It's not all the paperwork. It's all this. It's the little cool little trinkets that you get, right? Swag. So if swag. So I mean, this would be, when is that, by the way?
In next year in March.
Okay.
Or February.
Plenty of time. A big one that
like pencils and like have it on, like literally just give something out that you can print really inexpensive. Yeah.
Or I mean, how many? Yeah, because it may be that you have 250 of them, that you give out. But honestly, the key cover has been massive. That's been a big one. And so, because we've even had people that they swap out. We're like, get there, like, oh, well, we had one. And they see what we have, and they take their nice, like, Yamaha red one off, and they take it off and put ours on there. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, y'all's are black, right?
Yeah, ours are black with the gold.
Everybody loves black.
We need to have Andy, Stacy. I don't know if you can email Andy to see about getting the link for the folks that we used for this. Because I swear, I think we got him down to $1.50.
Yeah, we still don't know how he did it. He hasn't told us.
Yeah,
yet.
I'm still amazed he got it down to $1.50.
Including shipping getting it here.
He I don't think he's withholding the information, but he hasn't told me yet.
He's got.
The only thing is you had to order quite a bit, right? You had to order.
We ordered 2,500 of them, I think.
Yeah, and it might be partially the quantity that got that down, but
yeah,
I'm impressed that I managed to get my 50 that I ordered. The key covers alone were $2 to $2.50 each, and then I got my printing, and it cost about the same amount. So I have mine in for about $5 total.
That's not bad at all.
And considering if you try to order key covers from a regular supplier, their key covers are running $10 to $12, but me ordering directly from Temu got a decent price on the covers alone. So
that's really good. And would that price have gone down if, say, you ordered 500?
No, it was already pretty well discounted.
Okay, it was.
Yeah, I was already picking and choosing to even get that. So
yeah, okay.
I really like Jeff's idea with the hammers with the keychain.
I'd like that idea a lot.
That's a great idea, actually.
I remember one year at the same conference, there was a new drumstick company coming out called Thayer's, and they did the same thing. The very tip of the drumstick, they cut it so like an inch or so, and they make keychains. And I've always remembered that, and I have a lot of them on my keychain.
Yeah, so, it only requires a couple junkyard pianos and a Saturday afternoon,
Yeah, sandblast them or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh. That's such a great idea. No,
that is a really good idea. And the thing is, Jeff, with that list, okay, so you start a newsletter, you have all their emails, you have all their phone numbers. So if they don't schedule, you can always send them like a coupon later and just like call them, or just there's so many good ideas with that. I'm dying. I'm just dying. So I want that list now.
So I bet you guys are all dying to know what's the fourth and final of the non-negotiables. We've talked about showing up on time. You show up dressed to impress, groomed, and you're all good to go. That's the first one. Second one is you are fully evaluating the piano, inspecting it, and offering ways to improve that instrument. Third, you're going ahead and looking into the make, the model, the serial number. You're documenting all that, including putting pictures so that maybe future appraisals and things of that nature. That's what we do. Fourth, you're giving away your candy. Give away your candy and make sure that they have things to remember you by. But the fifth might be the most important. It's definitely something you need to do, but it's something that sometimes gets lost or you, for whatever reason, and this will happen more and more as you scale up, get the payment. Get payment on site. Ask for it. You'd be amazed at how many times it's easy to just say, oh, no, it's okay. I'll just bill you, especially with Gazelle, I'm finding, is that it's like our AR shot up once we started using AR, because it's like before it was like, no, we don't really have a way of billing you in the future. You need to pay now. Stuff like that. But now we have a lot of ways to kind of have people bill later, but just say, hey, ask for the check, ask for the money. Just say, you know what, I'm done with the tuning. How did you like it? Love it. Great. The total today is the whatever, 195. We check cash or card. Oh, well, do you do billing? Not really. Are you able to pay with the card? Yeah, I can do a card. Okay, great. Go the extra, just push it in a little bit, because sometimes you get pushback. Well, I'm heading out the door right now. Can I just, put a check in the mail? Again, this is more of an us issue right now, because we're larger than kind of just when you're starting out. It's a little easier. I think there's also a little bit more pressure. How do I say this? When you look more corporate, people don't mind treating you more corporate. But when it's just, people say, oh, I'm gonna help you out. So just so you know, as you grow, just keep that in mind. That's why we're establishing that as a non-negotiable, because it's so much work to do the billing and the AR and to track this stuff down as you scale. So
Yeah, that's true. They expect that you can like wait, and you're like, oh man, I really can't wait. Like,
yeah,
yeah, they think that you have like, oh, it's fine. We'll send it in the mail. Get there in 2 weeks. And it's like, oh man, was not expecting that.
no, I think right now we have $20,000 in AR for schools. It's just like, oh, and granted, there's not a lot we can do about that, but it's a lot.
Yeah, they just have a 30-day, like our contract with them says it gives them 30 days, and it's just what we have to do. And we just did a bunch for getting ready for school, and it's just seeing that rise is not the funnest thing. But
So David, as far as you're taking card payments, what vendor are you guys using to take card payments?
We just use Stripe. And I know that, and another person also recommended, Apple Pay and Venmo and stuff like that. Yes, when you're smaller, you can do more of that. I don't mean to this versus, what I'm saying is we're kind of beholden to just what Gazelle has. So Gazelle only works through Stripe. If they also had Venmo and Cash App and all this stuff, we would totally do that.
So through my business checking account, I was able to get Clover, which is similar to Square.
Okay.
And so it has a little, card reader on a lanyard. And so at the end of the appointment, I put this around my neck as along with my Google review QR code. And so I take the payment and then I ask for a review.
That's brilliant.
So I was going to add your honorable mention would be ask for a Google review. That's number 6.
Yeah, luckily Stacy's able to post the appointment, get those for us. So she's like a
that's our admin. We should go over the admin non-negotiables. Just
I would love to,
because those are just for the techs, because when if we made our techs do everything that we want, it would be like 20 theme checklists. We're really trying to just say what are the 5 most important that we can hold them to without because overwhelming them with and this and this and this. Yeah. And it could get really long, right? It could get, and
unfortunately, as self-employed, you all have to fill in the other 20. It's like you got to do the billing, you got to hunt them down, you have to get the reviews, you got to do all that. So
that, I would, I don't know whether it'd be worth your guys' while since you're doing all Stripe, but you might look at your business account with your bank and see what availability that they have.
Well, they totally do have that kind of thing, but it doesn't interface with Gazelle. It doesn't communicate to Gazelle.
And we do invoice through Gazelle, so we would have to manually. You can. I've worked with techs who only did Venmo, and we invoice through Gazelle, and I just have to mark it.
Only did Venmo?
Yeah, pretty much 100% Venmo. Several, and some that did Square, and some that did both. And I've seen it all over. So whatever works for you, do it. But
yeah,
it just gives a little more admin to do. Yeah, it does. If you can't.
We're still waiting for Gazelle to get to the point, because the way they have it, Gazelle isn't able to do just a touch screen or whatever insert thing yet, which is
that's why I like having the Clover, is that they can do tap or the chip, and you're not having to type anything, which is nice.
You know what else, Michael? You can set it up to where it's ask for you can have it automatically ask for like a tip.
That's what I haven't had a chance to look that up, but that's one
Yeah.
thing that's on my list to look
Mhm.
at is how to define that within Clover.
Now, do you guys charge for the like the Square? It's 2.9%. Yeah, I think Stripe is the same. Are you charging that percentage?
We have this thing where we basically, it was a bigger deal when we were doing full restoration, but it was like we charge a fee on anything over, it was like $1,000 back in the day. But we've since just gone away with it. We just priced ourselves above everybody else anyways, and so we make up for it that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically included in your service price, essentially.
Yeah, and then it's just a round number. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is a lot. We pay thousands of dollars a month. I didn't really realize until I saw some of the budget for merchant account fees. It's a lot.
Yeah, and when you Stripe, when you actually swipe the card, your fee will always be less. You learn working in a piano store.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, are you saying that because we have to manually do it like we do, it's more?
Mm-hmm.
How do I do this? Can I do that? It gave me the thumbs up.
That's the thing.
Thumbs down.
The first time I remember doing an audit in a piano store, just a little tangent, but when you're selling pianos, you're $20,000, $100,000 purchases, right? $5,000. And I was like, wait a second, we're paying how much percentage on $100,000? And if we swipe it, we save. Like when I started noticing the swipe charge versus the punch-in charge, merchant fee, I went crazy with investigating this, and we ended up saving so much money a year because I'm like, you must swipe the card. I was like, if you don't swipe the card, take a check. That's the only alternative.
Wow.
Yeah, like $20,000 a year. Yeah.
And you all will have to decide, as we've had to decide.
Yeah.
We used to be like, give us a check. We want checks. We want checks. It's a pain. I mean, you either take it, you either lose money on the fees, or you lose money on the expense of going and tracking down checks and taking them to the bank.
It's true. And it's how much time do you have to do what is what'll help you make that decision. Because when you're smaller, if you can just not pay any fees and it's so nice. You do save a lot, but depends on it. It really ebbs and flows on the growth of your company.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Perfect. Well, you all have assignments to go ahead and try to figure out what your non-negotiables are. Try to figure out 5 of them and just post on the group on the feed, because I'm just so curious what people come up with.
I am too. And you know what? Always let your company be a living, breathing document, which is why I love Google Docs and I don't like printed out manuals, because you got to be able to adapt and grow and stretch and be like, maybe this is more important now. And so I'm curious, and it'll be interesting when you see your business 5 years from now, how much your priorities have stayed the same, but yet pivoted and made little fine tunes. It's so fun to watch. Oh, so fun.
I like the serial number as a follow-up, because within an hour, the few that I've done, that gives me an excuse to, hey, your piano was built in Chicago in 1947, as if I did all this research, but I just pulled up my little file. Plus, it gives me a chance to thank them, and it gives them a little bonus. And wow, I never knew that. So I like to use a serial number as a follow-up. That forces me then to respond to.
Yeah, like Stacey said, that'd be a good time to ask her.
That'd be the best excuse to be like, and here's a Google review request, and do you want to schedule for next year because you didn't? Or
I do that too. I'm actually in our little area. I'm at the top of the page now with only 5 Google reviews, but I'll take it.
That's great.
That's awesome.
These wins lately, you guys are blowing my mind. Oh my God.
You guys are doing amazing. I'm so proud of each of you, because I remember a year ago where some of y'all, we were starting together. So just where you're at is just epic. It's just epic. I think that's the best way to say it.
So David, if you didn't notice behind me, I've got everything reassembled.
I noticed of intact action. I was going to ask.
And that needs, all the regulation pieces. I just have baseline punchings, so I got to do all the key leveling, key dip, hammer stuff, regulation.
What was the piano make? Was it Kanabi? Chickering?
No, it's a chickering.
Chickering. Okay. My Samick baby grand should be at the office on the 4th, and we're gonna be going through that sucker from start to finish, reconditioning it and showing you all what we do, how to budget it, how to bill for it, and everything. So
the key bushings, the total time on the key bushings ended up about 16 or so hours.
Yeah, it's
something like that. From the removals just took forever to do the removals. The reinstall wasn't too bad, and the key easing was only like another hour or two for easing the keys. But
you'll get faster. You'll get faster. And the first one, I'm amazed. It's like when I put together these stupid IKEA shelves. It's like when I have two, because there's always two that I have to put together, right? The first one takes a whole day. The next one takes 20 minutes. It's like you're gonna find that that's the case.
But yeah, the keys feel so much better, and they're locked in properly, and as opposed to wobbling like this.
Yeah, nice work. Nice work.
Robert, I'll be back in Round Top, Robert, and you can go up and go to the shop, the piano shop, and we'll get it worked.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I need to call that guy because Michael suggested I'm going to send my Steinway there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll let you know when we're going up, and we can go to the shop and work at the institute on the pianos.
Oh, cool. Do that. I'll try and get over there.
Yeah, we're going to be starting to get quite a little bit more activity coming up because we're going to be working with Michael over at the Piano Technician Academy, who's getting a lot more people like, hey, we graduated. Hey, I don't know how to work on pianos fully yet. I need help. I can't find a mentor and stuff like that. So we're going to be doing some partnering with him on that to get that going. So that'll be fun to see more faces and get more questions. I always love it. So we're excited.
Wow.
Wednesday, all about upright piano tuning. We're going to go back to basics. I want to kind of, because we do have some new people here, and I want to be able to just kind of open it up. As Victor said, just like going back to some of these basics, like, whoa, it turns out that does work. And I did position my body, and now I'm doing this. I'll even try a little bit of my left hand tuning so you can laugh at me. So I'll do that for you all. I'll see you on Wednesday.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.